I just had to let you know you're mine. Hands on your body, I don't wanna waste no time. Feels like forever, even if forever tonight. Just lay with me.
And his girlfriend was there, and this was some shit. So she's there, and it was awkward as fuck because the whole energy had just changed. Like, at first she wasn't there, and it was just all of us cracking jokes, laughing, doing whatever. And when she got there, it got quiet. So I'm sitting there, and my sister's sitting there with me. Like, she holding my shoulder, like, you know, with her arm around me. She's trying to be morally supportive because, like, I'm in front of the boy who I'm in love with, girlfriend. At this point, I'm a full side chick. At 14, what the fuck was I doing? What were you doing? Never had a personal issue with her. I mean, I shouldn't have been able to be mad at her. It's not like she was messing with my boyfriend behind my back in secret. The kind of entitlement that I had back then for me to feel like I was able to be upset with her presence. Like, that's not his whole motherfucking girlfriend. Like, so, it was a weird moment. We wound up leaving. Me and my sister were talking, and it was like even more weird that we left. So we wound up coming back. We hung out, said happy birthday, did whatever. Fast forward, now that I'm actually talking to old dude, like, he definitely helped. He got my mind off a jit, and we were like flirting at this point. That ended. There was a point where we were all hanging out at the apartments that the boy that I was talking to lived in, and we were all laughing and joking. He was still at his house, so it was just me, the boy that I was in love with, my first love, my sister, and then the other friend, our other friend. And we were all playing inside this little thing, and we were all like squishing ourselves on top of each other. Like, we were just being some fucking weirdos, but it was fun. It was working for us. And at one point, they moved. Like, my sister and old boy moved. And they was sitting over there talking, and I was sitting in the little toy, just playing. And Jit had came back and sat down, and we were sitting there inside of each other, and inside of the thing with each other, just staring at each other. So this is where I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna put my input. I feel like it was a hard situation because at that point we had built a friendship, we had gotten so close, and we were always around each other. We had the same group of friends. And I'm not going to say that I don't think that he didn't love me, but I don't think that he loved me, basically. I don't feel like you can spend that much time with a person and not, you know, grow some feelings with a person, especially because this kept happening. We kept finding ourselves in situations where we couldn't stay away from each other, where we couldn't avoid these situations. And at that time, it's not like he was just around for sex because we weren't having sex. I was a virgin. It's not like it was for sex. So that's, I feel like I can't say that he didn't care about me or didn't love me or whatever, but he didn't, and not in the way that I loved him, basically, especially because I was so young and my emotions were just so high and unstable. So it was like there was some type of bond and connection there, because we couldn't stay away from each other and we kept finding ourselves in these dumbass situations. But it wasn't what I had for him. You feel me? So he's looking at me, and we're in a very interesting position where he's sitting on top of me, because this was a tiny contraption. We were all trying to fit inside of it. It's one of those things that like spin really fast. And he's looking at me, and he looked at me and was like, nah, I can't even go there with you because you my dog's girl. And he got up. And at this point, now that shit killed my whole vibe. It fucked up my whole mood. And it irritated me, because I was like, I stepped back, like I owned up my mistake. And I didn't own up, because that's not like I told her, but I like kept that shit deaded. It never happened again. But then we wound up in that particular situation where he's looking at me like, damn, I can't even go there with you because you're my dog's girl. And he got up and he walked away, and he went to go talk to them. And I'm just still sitting over there, because at this point, I was confused and I was sad And I was just like, what the fuck? So from there, it only got worse. It only got worse. We could, to the point where our friends had to keep us away from each other. We were not allowed to be alone ever, because it would always turn into some shit, and then we would get, it would turn petty. So it was like girls came with me, guys came with him, and until we got our shit together, it was just weird as fuck for everybody else because we wouldn't be around each other. So it got to the point where we weren't allowed alone, and that worked for a good minute. It worked for a while. It did. It worked for a while, and we were never left alone. There was always somebody. It was me, him, and somebody else, or everybody as a whole, and that worked, and that was fine. And then our friendship had progressed on, and I had slowly started to become okay. I was like, okay, this is, I'm gonna be okay. Like, this is just one of those things, and it just is what it is. And then my sister's family member had passed away, so she had to go out of town for the funeral. And at this point, you gotta think about it. She was really the one that was like really on it, making sure that we were never alone, stuff like that. We were all friends, but those were his friends first. So you see where I'm going with it. It's like they not really finna like stop some shit as if like she would make sure we was never alone. We didn't even sit next to each other type shit, nothing like that. So she had gone out of town, and we wound up having our off period like normal, and we wound up going off campus like always. I should have just, back and looking at it, I should have just never went. I should have just stayed or made up some dumbass excuse, because honestly, there was nobody there to protect me. I wasn't even protecting myself, because I was just so vulnerable to this nigga. Everything he said, whatever he did, his touch made me go stupid. Like, it made me freeze. And he knew it, I knew it, everybody knew it, and there was nobody to protect me. There was nobody to protect me. I wasn't protecting myself. My protector was on a plane somewhere. So we go to the park, and it's me, him, the girl, his friend, and then his friend's like little, I don't know if he was trying to talk to her or what, but you know, that was like his little joint or whatever. So all three of them are over there playing on these little toys or whatever, and I'm on the tire wheel because I'm a big ass kid and that's my favorite toy. So I'm laying on my back and I'm just swinging, and all of a sudden it gets cloudy as fuck. So I look up and I'm looking at his face because he's sitting on top of me, because I was covering the whole wheel, so he had to like sit on top of me. So we're sitting there, and it's immediate attraction. It's immediate like fall into old habits, and we have been doing so good for a good amount of time. We have been doing so good, and then so I got up and I was like, oh hell no, like this is what the fuck. So I go sit on the slide. And he comes over there. With me. And at this point, they just not even paying attention to what the fuck we got going on. Or maybe they was, and they just didn't care. And whatever the case may be, they was letting him do him and do his things. So he had gum. And I was like, can I have a piece of gum? And he was like, this is my last piece. And I was just like, oh, okay. And he was like, you can have it. So in that moment, I'm like, well, how can I have, because I was like stupid naive when it came to certain stuff. So he was like, you can have it. And so I really wasn't paying attention until he kissed me. And he kissed me, and it was one of those kisses that you see in like a movie. It wasn't an aggressive kiss or like a like one of those. It was a very soft, gentle kiss, and in that kiss, like I felt everything, and it was like everything from the day that I met him to now played out in my head. Everything. And it was like the full picture finally came into view, because it was like when I was around him, everything was covered up and I was blinded, and I would chose to ignore stuff or put stuff in the back of my mind and not pay attention to stuff. So it was like in that kiss, everything came full circle. And I literally felt my heart break. Because in that moment, it took me a while to get there, but I finally got there. It was wrong. It was always wrong, but I think I just tried to justify it over time and tried to make it okay in my head, but it was wrong. And it was sad to me, because this is someone who I've actually grown really, really close to, told him stuff that I've never told anybody, or only a select few people know. And I started to like care about him. I was with him all the time. We spent so much time together. We were always around each other. And it was like, dang, like, what are you doing? Why are you putting yourself through this? Why have you put yourself through this? Because the reality of the situation is, I was your side chick, basically. I was the person you came to when she was getting on your nerves, and I would make you laugh, and the person you could talk to, and there was no strings to me, there was nothing, and you knew that I wasn't gonna say anything. You knew that I wasn't gonna blow up your spot like that. So at this point, someone had to put their foot down and be the bigger person, and it had to be me. There was no other. Been more of those random moments where we're just like, and it just made me feel wrong, just like dirty, because like it wasn't even about him no more at this point. Because at this point, yeah, you wrong because you got a girlfriend and that's your girlfriend, but that's as far as it goes with the blame that you put on him, because everything else was on me. I know this nigga got a girlfriend. I see this girlfriend. I see him kiss her. I see him tell her he loves her and stuff like that, but I chose to keep our memories and our friendship moments and stuff like that, and keep those in the front of my mind, instead of really taking a step back and being like, what are you doing? Because I'm not that type of girl, and I definitely wasn't raised like that. I'm not nobody's backdoor hoe or nobody's side chick. So it was like, what is you doing? So after the kiss, I was just looking at him, because my heart was broken, because I really did fall for him, and I think he knew that. And in that moment, we were just staring at each other. And I got up and I walked away. I just kept walking. I did not say nothing. I didn't. But when you're ready and on your time, you come around, and my dumb ass is just like, at least he's coming around, like, just dumb bitch. Just dumb and in love. And young, dumb, young, and in love. My sister, and she's like, well, what the fuck? Why was you even alone with him? Why did you da-da-da-da? And I'm like, yeah, I deserve it. I didn't even think I tried to fight back, and I didn't even try to defend myself, because at this point, I can't be mad at nobody but myself. How did I, and it's crazy, because even looking at it now, like, how did I allow myself to get that wrapped up in a guy, to the point where I'm like, going over my morals and going over what I know to be right, keeping secrets and doing stuff outside of my character for a guy. And I can't blame nobody but myself, because every chance I had to walk away, I never took it. Honestly, that's the one thing that I regret. But I don't regret it, because it taught me a lot about myself. And understand, I've never ever put myself in a situation like that. I'm not even that type of girl. And when it was like, that was my first love, even though he wasn't mine, and he was never mine to begin with. So shortly after that, basically shit hit the fan. We wound up not talking anymore, not being friends. And I think that's really what my problem is, because throughout all the next two stories, you're going to realize, like, my biggest thing is, like, I don't like losing people. I don't like losing a friend. So, like, let's figure out how we can make this work. If that means that we got to change some shit around, but we should still be able to be in each other's lives type shit. Because if this was just like some random shit, I probably could have got past it. But I like started to invest, and I started to like go so deep into my mind and just ignoring stuff. And then it was like that last time that we kissed should have never happened. None of this should have ever happened. And it sucked because the only person that I could talk to about it was him and my sister. So it's like you got her trying to tell me the right thing, and you got him basically acting like it's nothing. But you love this girl. But how? And at that point, I honestly feel like I was like really young, and I had a lot of insecurities myself, and I was definitely going through a lot. Like I said, a lot has changed from like that moment to like now, and what I've gone through and what I've learned about myself and how I care about myself. I love myself a lot more. I love myself. I respect myself too much to ever like be brought back down to a place like that or be put in a position like that, because I'm not nobody's second choice, nobody's runner-up. And for some reason I was being all of that and more for someone who wasn't even mine, and it was like a mentally draining experience. But honestly, I'm the kind of person where I feel like everything happened for a reason, so I don't think that I would change anything. Like if I got the opportunity, I don't think I would change anything, because in that moment when I met him, so many different things had happened. I had met so many different people, experienced so many different things, and I was stronger coming out of that situation than I was going into that situation. So it's like everything happens for a reason, and everybody got to go through their life lessons. And looking back on it, what I would tell 14-year-old me is to never put don't put nobody else in front of you, because you are worth more and you deserve more. About it from a girl's, but you're a girl and you doing this to another girl, like you helping somebody cheat. Nah, we ain't have sex, but you still, to me, cheating is a lot. Cheating is a lot of things. It ain't just sex. You got emotional cheating, physical cheating, and mental cheating, where you like you just left the relationship but you still there type shit. And emotional cheating is when you got a relationship and you building this connection and this bond, and you making someone else feel the way you supposed to make the person that you say you love feel. And I feel like that's what me and him had going on. He was just emotionally out here cheating, and that's still wrong, because cheating is cheating. And the crazy thing is, the whole time I knew it was wrong. I did. Whether I wanted to acknowledge it or not, I knew. And looking back on it, 18-year-old me is like disgusted. I'm sorry, I'm disgusted. Like, also, I want to take the time. If Shorty ever see this, if she ever feel like this is who it's to you, I apologize. I do, because at that time, I had never even had my heart broken, and I had never been cheated on, and I had never, I ain't never like been played, because I never had a boyfriend, or I never was in nobody's relationship or nothing like that. So I was really young and naive, and I was stupid, and I was like listening to a nigga that was really just trying to cover his own ass. Because I mean, the first time it ever happened, his first words was, "You gonna tell my girlfriend?" So in your mind, in my mind, I feel like I made it okay for him to cheat, because I said no, and I continued to hold that secret and never said anything. So now at 18, have gone through a couple of relationships, and that wasn't even my relationship, you feel me? I was a stranger in somebody else's relationship. Now going through some stuff, and have been like, in certain situations, like I sincerely fucking apologize. I apologize for the actions and the lack of character that I displayed at that age, and what I was doing and how I was moving, because that's not me, and it was never me, and it ain't never gonna be me again. I can say that with certainty. And I don't ever want to be inside somebody else's relationship. I don't want to be in nobody's relationship. Hell, I don't even want to be in a relationship with nobody. So it's like, being in somebody else's relationship, what the fuck? It's like, I don't like calling myself a side chick, because I'm not. But in that one particular moment, I definitely was somebody's other woman. I was definitely somebody's other woman. So I sincerely apologize. And I apologize to myself. Like, hindsight is 20/20. So looking back on it, it's way easier for me to be like, whoa, what the fuck? But when I was in it, I was just fucking dumb and in love. My dumb ass. So that's really pretty much it. That's the first part. That's the first one. Whew. I honestly thought that I was gonna cry, but that goes to show my maturity and how much I've grown up, because it really don't bother me no more. Like, I can own up to my mistakes, and I was definitely wrong in that situation, and I was definitely doing a little bit too much, a little bit too fast, and I should have been minding my business and focusing on school instead of placing myself in somebody else's relationship. And then it makes it worse because I'm a girl, so like I'm doing that to another girl. What the fuck? So I'm off this shit. I'm losing light. It's getting dark. Watched it. Thanks for listening. Leave your opinions in the comment section. Hell, if you've ever been through a situation like that, if you've ever been the other woman, because understand, I'm not no hoe. I'm not just out here like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck her nigga and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I think that I was just young and I got caught up in a situation that I definitely wasn't emotionally mature enough to handle. Thank you for listening. Like I said, leave your comments in the comment section if you have anything you want to say, any advice. If you ever been through a situation like that, let me know. We can talk about it. We can get personal. Leave a like, leave a comment, your thoughts, subscribe, and this is me. And it only gets realer from here. So